For our markets, it's the Fin Nifty expiry, and the first tick on the Nifty pushes us closer to 19,400.
Indian economy itself is growing at a fair clip, and bank with its extended reach now is able to pick up.
Nifty, because there has been a big surge in last couple of minutes as well. So 97 points higher on the Nifty.
Still green. And 19,400. I mean, visually it was there for a bit at least, Prashant.
We're going to end the 70 points higher, almost at 19,400. Again, one more pretty strong session.
Hello and welcome to Markets Today, the show where we track about 6 hours of the day's trading action in 5 headlines. I'm Reema Tendulkar, and these are the top headlines. Equity markets shrug off an initial bout of weakness, trades in a range in the absence of any significant triggers. The Sensex and Nifty posts a record close for the 4th session in a row. The mid-cap stocks come under pressure. That index snaps a 5-day winning streak. Jio unveils Jio Bharat platform aimed at breaking 250 million people out of the 2G era. Prices the new phone at 999 rupees. Beta trial for the first 1 million Jio Bharat phones to begin from the 7th of July. Offers unlimited voice calls and 14 GB of data at a subscription of just 123 rupees per month. Bajaj Finance delivers a blockbuster update with Q1 advances, deposits and assets under management growing at a multi-quarter record pace. The stock jumps as analysts upgrade the lender. Harley-Davidson and Hero Motor take on Royal Enfield in the 440cc segment with the launch of their codevelop X440 motorcycle. Sources say the bike will be sold at 300 Hero Motor outlets in addition to Harley's own outlets. Pawan Munjal says more premium launches from the Hero stables will hit the Indian streets over the next few years. Shares of IDFC surge as investors digest the share swap ratio for the merger with IDFC First, but shares of the bank drop 4%. The bank's MD tells CNBC-TV18 the merger will bring 600 crores of rupees of cash onto the bank's book. Adds that the bank will further raise 2,000 crore rupees by FY24 to meet its aggressive growth targets. And here's what we have for you on the show today. Packed show as always in Market Opinions. Sanjay Mukim, strategist, head equities research at JP Morgan India. In Big Corporate Voices, Atanu Chakraborty, chairman at HDFC Bank. Pawan Munjal, chairman Hero Moto. And Joaquin Zietz, CEO Harley-Davidson. Another day, another high. The markets posted a record close for the 4th straight session. The Nifty and the Sensex gained over 0.25%, but mid-caps underperformed and snapped their 5-day winning streak. Banks rose in line with the blue chips. Prashant joins in with the day's market action.
Well, we're used to 150, 200 points over the last couple of sessions, and today it was not that much. It was 60 points, but nothing to complain. It was another record closing high for the Nifty. Some hesitation as well. I mean, in the morning, right after a very exuberant kind of open on the index, the market sold off. It came down to the today's low, which was 19,300 at 10 a.m. exactly. From 10 a.m. onwards, all the way till 1:30, it was a steady upwards recovery. And after that, there was a bit of a let-off once again. But still, I mean, as I said, it's been super, super strong. Banks, I mean, they'd started to outperform the Nifty over the last couple of days, but today it closed off the day's high, middle of the range for the Nifty Bank. PSU banks are the star this week so far, but there also gains were pared back from very exuberant kind of day highs which were made. Mid-caps and small caps, mid-caps slightly lower, small caps slightly higher. Maybe there is a bit of shift happening from the broader markets, these mid, micro, small caps to the large caps now. Gainers on the Nifty, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, those two doing very well. Bajaj Finance, of course, reported pre-quarterly numbers. Hero, there was news slow with that Harley launch. Tech Mahindra was another gainer that we had. Losses coming through in Eicher Motors, where there is fear that competition is rising with Harley and, of course, now tomorrow Bajaj. Bharti and Axis Bank were some of the other losers that we had. More losers as compared to gainers on the advanced decline. So I'll start with what was down. IDFC First, the swap ratio perhaps a little unfavorable there for IDFC as compared to IDFC First as compared to IDFC Limited. South Indian Bank was down. Tata Communications, HEG, Force Motors, ADF Foods, which was a big 20% mover, gave up some of those gains today. On the gaining side, you had names like Suzlon, PNB, Poonawalla FinCorp, Kaveri Seeds out of the blue came back into very strong momentum. Kaveri Seeds, MedPlus, Greenlam, and a bunch more. It is another record closing high. 5 sessions flat. We've done 700 points. There is no US session today for the 4th of July holiday in the US. The question is, Will action shift more and more to large caps, and will the pace perhaps slow down a little bit? That's key to watch. Back to you.
Thank you for that. In market opinion, Sanjay Mukim, strategist at JP Morgan India, says mid-cap IT companies are trading at elevated levels. He also expects IT earnings for the first quarter to come in lower than street expectations. Speaking about other sectors, he said that it will be challenging for financial companies to outgrow the system.
We are in the camp that it's a bit too early to look at Indian IT companies on the basis of their correction or on the basis of a valuation anchor or any of that sort. And some of the mid-caps or smaller names are also trading at very elevated valuations as well. So you're likely to see earnings misses, downgrades, and valuations again are not at supportive levels to our mind. There are signs that there is some slowdown, maybe not as rapidly as you would have expected, but the direction is softening a little bit. On growth, on consumption and so on. But the feedback from people, the large companies, the BFSI, retail, is still very cautious. So we still expect that the IT universe growth of demand will come in weaker than people's current forecast. Now, historically, you've seen that the private sector banks have always gained market share and done 6 to 7% higher than system loan growth, and the PSU banks are also competitive for a variety of reasons. So it will be an interesting next few quarters to figure out how these market share changes happen and whether a large number of financials can continue to outgrow the system.
Okay, let's move on then to the second headline for the day. Reliance Industries was under pressure despite Jio's 4G phone launch. So yesterday, Jio launched a new internet-enabled 4G phone called Jio Bharat Phone. It will be priced at just 999 rupees, and with this, a consumer has access to apps like Jio Cinema, Jio Savan, FM Radio. It can even make UPI payments via Jio Pay. With this launch, the company is trying to tap the 250 million 2G subscribers who currently do not have access to internet. When we talk about the pricing of the monthly plans, Jio has launched two plans. One is a monthly plan at 123 rupees. It's for 28 days, or an annual plan at 1,238 rupees. But these plans are significantly cheaper than what competition has to offer. Now, the more commonly used plan by competitors is a 179 rupee plan, wherein you get unlimited voice, 2 GB of data and 300 SMS. In comparison, with Reliance Jio, you're going to be paying only 123 rupees. That's 30% cheaper. And unlike competition, which is giving you 2 GB of data per month, here you will get 14 GB of data, which means this plan is 30% cheaper and offers you 7x the data. Let me run you through what brokerages had to say. JP Morgan titles their note as disrupting the bottom end of the pyramid. They say the phone looks attractive, the specs look good, and Jio is now getting aggressive at the top end and at the bottom end. When they talk about the top end, they're referring to in March when the company had launched aggressive postpaid plans. And now they're getting aggressive at the bottom end with this device launch and trying to garner the 2G subscribers. This step, they're saying, can halt incremental tariff increases for 2G, help them gain 2G subscriber share. So it's negative for peers like Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea, and it also signals the lack of support for 4G tariff actions. MK says Jio Bharat Phone can transition and get nearly 100 million subscribers if there are no supply chain or product-related disruptions. Vodafone Idea right now has about 103 million subscribers. Bharti Airtel has 111 million subscribers. And according to MK, Jio Bharat can get 40% of Bharti and Vodafone Idea subscribers. If that happens, we're looking at a top-line impact of 10% roughly for competition and a double-digit impact on their EBITDA. So negative news for competition, but Reliance Jio sold off, but so did its peers like Bharti Airtel, ending in the red. Let's move on now to the third headline for the day, and that's Bajaj Finance. That rallied 7% after the company reported a strong business update for the first quarter. The company's advances, deposits, assets under management grew at a multi-quarter record pace. We're talking about a 9% AUM growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis and 30% plus on a year-on-year basis. Abhishek is here with the details.
Well, the quarterly update of Bajaj Finance was pretty strong. Look at the new loans. That's grown by 34% YOY and about 30.8% sequentially. So sequentially, this 30.8% growth is at a 7-quarter high. The customer base has grown strongly as well, up about 21% YOY and about 5.6% quarter-on-quarter. The AUM growth on a YOY basis coming in at 32.4% is perhaps the best in last 14 quarters, and sequential growth of 9.2% in AUM is perhaps the best in last 16 quarters. So calculation shows that the average ticket size is up 9.4% YOY and about 3.4% sequentially. Deposit momentum for the company was really strong, growing at 46.3% YOY and about 11.8% sequentially. Liquidity in the balance sheet remains strong. Cash actually grew by 7.2% quarter-on-quarter. The cross-sell that's improved this time around, which was one of the factor impacting the loan growth. It's at 6-quarter high of 8.3%. So we have CLS's note on Bajaj Finance. They have upgraded the stock to buy from outperformance, and they have increased the target price to 9,000 from 6,600 that they had earlier. They say that the company is in a sweet spot given the fact that loan growth has beaten estimate and valuations offers upside. So their own estimate for Q1 loan growth was around 6 to 7% on a quarter-on-quarter, but the company has reported more than 9% in terms of sequential loan growth. So extraordinary growth for NBFC of this size. New customer acquisition was healthy. Disbursals growth is not led by ticket size given the fact that customer acquisition has remained strong. So they have raised their EPS estimate by 5 to 6%. PAT CAGR over the next 2 to 3 years, they see it around 25%, which could translate into ROE of anywhere between 23% to 24%. Back to you.
Abhishek, thank you very much for that. Let's get to a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. In his first interview since the merger, HDFC Bank Chairman Atanu Chakraborty has said the bank has a huge cross-selling opportunities and that lower cost of funds will make the housing growth profitable. Remember, the merger of HDFC into HDFC Bank came through over the weekend. Chakraborty also went on to say that over the next 5 to 6 years, they can see this bank growing at a very fast clip across all sectors of the economy. He also focused on the synergies following the merger. He said that the bank is able to garner its funds at a much lower rate, and that would make the growth of housing not only possible, but also help it grow at a much faster rate and also on good margins.
Over the next 5 to 6 years, you can see this bank growing at a very fair clip across all sectors of economy. Housing has, as you see, has already been added. While already roughly 40 million customers were there with HDFC Limited, but unlike bank, they didn't have access to cheaper funds, which were the current account, savings, and so on and so forth. There are subsidiaries in insurance, there are subsidiaries in mutual funds, and so forth. So there again the distribution takes place. So there is a very strong cross-sell and distributive part. We had teams at 2 levels, one who were handling the regulatory and the legal part, and a team of very senior management people from both the sides who were looking after integration across 30 areas, and headed by 2 directors from both the companies. In India, housing is just 11%, mortgage is just 11% of GDP. China or Southeast Asia is about 20%, Western countries are about 60%. It's a very under-penetrated market despite the fact that you see a lot of hoardings around.
Moving on, jewelry retailing brand Senko's initial public offering has been subscribed 49% on day one. The 405 crore IPO received 83% subscription in the retail category, while the portion for the non-institutional investors was at 34%. To know more about this jewelry company, Senko, which will soon be listed on the exchanges, let's go across to Mangla. Mangla.
Senko Gold is the leader of the organized jewelry space in the eastern part of the country. It's a 50-year-plus brand, 4th-generation entrepreneur. The IPO opens today at a price band of 310 to 317 rupees. They're looking to raise around 405 crores, of which 135 crores will be a partial exit from their existing PE partners, SEF partners that is, and 270 crores will be fresh issue which the company will deploy into expanding their store network. The company at the higher end of the price band is seeking a market cap of close to around 2,462 odd crores. A little about the financials of the company. You know, the revenues in FY23 were close to around 4,077 crores, a little above Thangamayil Jewelers, a lot below Kalyan and Titan as well. But their margins at 7.9% or 7.8% put them pretty much in line with Kalyan, a little above Thangamayil and a lot below Titan as well. The net profit of the company has compounded at over 60% in the last 3 years. But remember, this comes on a favorable base as well. So it's important to check where it goes from here on as well. Nearly 70% of their revenues comes in from West Bengal. The company plans to use the funds which has raised to increase its store network, which currently stands at around 136, and also deploy that into marketing expenses to perhaps increase the share of revenue that it gets from studded, which as of FY23 stood at around 6.8%. The company says it's closer to around 10% right now. What's good about this IPO is the fact that it's offered at 15.5 times trailing valuations, which leaves a lot of value on the table as compared to the peers which trade at extremely higher multiples as well. However, a couple of things we need to watch out for going forward. The working capital, the last couple of years, the company's operating cash flow has been negative. And at the same time, this is now a competitive space. So let's see how the company goes ahead and expands its margins.
While we are at about 10 to 11% in terms of the studded ratio. But if you look at the past, at Senko Gold and Diamonds, we've been growing in double digits as far as the diamond jewelry sales is concerned. Last financial year, our jewelry sales growth for diamond jewelry was 35%. The year before that, around 20-25%. So what we see, with the increase in gold prices, consumers today, maybe because the way the trends are changing, the Western wear coming up in a big way. So people are also looking at daily wear, everyday wear jewelry, and in which diamond jewelry plays a big role, and the sales are picking up, which in the long run, we feel that will really add to the bottom line.
Okay, time for a short break, but stay tuned. We'll be back in a jiffy with the other headlines. Welcome back. You're watching Markets Today, the show where we track the day's trading action in 5 headlines. These are the 4th and the 5th headline for you. Hero Motocorp rallied over 4% as it joined hands with Harley-Davidson to co-develop premium bikes for the Indian market. The first offering of this partnership is X440. With this, both Hero Moto and Harley-Davidson are marking their foray into the 440cc segment. Parikshit Luthra tells us more about how X440 is all set to emerge as a rival to Royal Enfield.
The X440 will be the most important and biggest premium offering in Hero MotoCorp's lineup for years to come. This has been co-designed, co-developed with Harley-Davidson, manufactured by Hero MotoCorp here in India. The engine has been developed by Hero MotoCorp with inputs from Harley-Davidson, and this is a characteristic Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The sound, the riding ergonomics, the styling and the design are all of that of a Harley-Davidson. So what do you really get with this motorcycle? A 440cc engine which gives you 38 Newton meters of torque, signature tail lamp, signature turn indicators, the headlamp, all of that is it will give you the resemblance, the similarities of a Harley-Davidson. Why is it important for Hero MotoCorp? Well, Hero MotoCorp hopes to get an edge in the premium segment with the 440cc motorcycle, and Harley-Davidson hopes to get the scale in the India market. This motorcycle will be sold by Hero MotoCorp not just in Harley's 25 showrooms in the country, but in 300 selected Hero MotoCorp outlets across India.
All that Harley has been doing across the globe for their customers is now only going to get multiplied here through this co-created, co-developed product for Harley-Davidson in India for India.
It was very clear that we would not leave the market but come back with a much stronger partnership that could produce a product that we probably couldn't have developed and certainly not manufactured in India on our own. So it's a very important product. It plays in the premium segment. It's part of our long-term strategy to selectively expand into areas that we have not traditionally been in.
So this will be important to see how this bet really pays off for Harley-Davidson and Hero MotoCorp. It has been priced competitively at 2.29 lakhs as a starting price. So you will see it competing with the Triumph 400, which is coming up very soon, the KTM 390, the Royal Enfield Classic 350, the Himalayan as well. So let's see how this motorcycle does well for both Harley-Davidson and Hero MotoCorp in India.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Let's get to the fifth headline then. IDFC is expected to merge into IDFC First Bank within the next 9 to 12 months. In fact, shares of IDFC surged in trade while IDFC First Bank fell after the merger swap ratio was disclosed. Investors holding 100 shares of IDFC will get 155 shares of IDFC First Bank. Abhishek is here with the details and the contours of this deal. Abhishek.
Well, IDFC Limited will get merged into IDFC First Bank. So IDFC First Bank will offer 155 shares of IDFC Bank for every 100 shares that you hold in IDFC Limited. So the deal price, as per yesterday's closing, is around 16% upside to IDFC Limited. The merger will lead to simplification of the corporate structure that is there for IDFC FSCL, IDFC Limited, as well as IDFC First Bank. So by consolidating them into a single entity, it will help streamline the regulatory compliance as well. So they need, approval from various regulators like shareholders, creditors, stock exchanges, CCI, NCLT, RBI and SEBI. As per their release, the book value of the standalone bank can increase by 4.9%. The scheme will take about 9 to 12 months for it to get completed. Back to you.
Bank of Baroda also rallied 1.5% on the back of positive brokerage outlook. DAM Capital and Citi are both bullish on the stock and they've put out a buy rating. Abhishek is still with us. Abhishek, can you take us through what these brokerages have to say and why they are betting on Bank of Baroda?
There are brokerage notes that have come in on Bank of Baroda. One of them is DAM Capital. They have a buy recommendation and they have increased the target price to about 250 per share from earlier target price of 230 per share. They say that Bank of Baroda could actually outpace PSU banks in terms of peer competition with respect to ROAs, especially wherein they are expecting the ROA of BOB to be around 1.15% to 1.2% over FY24 to 25. This will benefit benefit from a strong transition undertaken by the bank in last 3 to 5 years. There are 3 key pillars of transition. They say improving mix towards retail, especially the unsecured book, which can actually aid the net interest margin or the yield of the bank, and continuous strengthening and formation of new verticals with investment being done in talents as well as lateral hiring. So around 20% of the loans as per them is based on MCLR rates, which will see repricing in H1 of FY24. This could actually boost the net interest margin or the yield of the bank. As a result, the bank is gaining traction with higher than industry business growth, benign asset quality and improved tech capabilities as well. We also have Citi who has written on Bank of Baroda with a buy recommendation. Target price has been raised to 245 from 220 that they had earlier. They say that the fee income has scaled up. 3.3% net interest margin and less than 1% credit cost will support ROA or return on asset of about 1%. They are confident that the bank can actually deliver with respect to credit growth anywhere between 14 to 15% YOY, or 1 or 2 percentage points higher than the industry average, and a net interest margin will be sustained at 3.3%. So the scale up of unsecured loans, focus on APF within the housing loans and broad-based growth in other retail segments will aid in 1.5 in terms of the growth, asset growth that they are forecasting. So focused initiatives, targeted segments that they have, and also being taken up to scale up the fee income is the focus of the bank, and that will help them in achieving the ROA. Back to you.
Thank you, Abhishek. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Markets Today. Thank you for watching.